3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to RIP Debt Not Runs, running in support of RIP Medical Debt. My name is the and I have a little something for you before this next run starts. It goes like this. Lots of fun and lots of fast, so good you might think it's task. Stay tuned to the channel and discover it's Bugsnax. And everybody's talking about Bugsnax, right, Konception?
Oh my god. That was incredible. Both runs I've done for this marathon have had incredible intros. Did you guys write these in advance? Like, really well done.
I wrote it in between the last run and this one, so, you know, about 5 minutes ago.
Wow. Wow, I've done a lot of marathon runs in my day, and I've had the best intros in this marathon so far. So thank you, T-Tree. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
And hello, everybody. Yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Konception. First, I'm going to say this on the stream now. Yeah, I would like to apologize because yesterday I did a run of Burger King games and I did the absolutely wrong category that was scheduled. And I would like to apologize to the marathon staff for doing that because I probably put us behind schedule by like 40 minutes. I'm so sorry. I do apologize for that, but I know for sure that I'm here to do Bugsnax, all bosses base game. So I know I'm doing the right category today. And if I'm not, somebody yell at me, please. But I'm pretty sure that I'm doing the right category.
To your credit, the end result was more great sponsored content, and we love SpawnCon around here, don't we, folks?
Yeah.
See,
yes,
from
we
chat,
do.
more
Yes, we
BK,
do.
more good, from Miss Ray, who also sent in a $20 donation. They were donating during the Talberic Octini block to complete the Octiniverse. Less than 3. But Miss Ray, what about your wife? Or are they part of the extended Octiniverse? Anyways, back to you, Konception. Yes.
Yeah, the Octini multiverse.
Mm-hmm, that's the one.
The multiverse of Meteor, if you will. All right. Well, you know, let's get started. Yes, we're going to be doing all bosses, so we're going to be beating the game as possible while defeating the 4 legendary Bugsnax in the base game. I'll go into a little bit more about what that means as we progress the story. I just wanted to check. I didn't have any like bid wars or incentives for the color choice. I always forget if I do it for the for a marathon. We might have one later, but I don't remember if I have any.
Let me check right now.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're clear to get started whenever you're ready.
Sweet, then I'm gonna go with my favorite color, which is green. Time is a little weird, so I'm gonna try my best to count it down as well as I can, but you know, time will go on go here, because it starts as the first scene loads in, as opposed to on new game, so it's a little strange. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Not too shabby at all. Yeah, so this, by the way, is Bugsnax. This is if you're unfamiliar, this is a very fun game where we will be encountering a lot of really cute creatures that resemble both bugs and food, and we'll be catching them Pokemon / Ape Escape style, for lack of a better term. The run starts off with a very big skip of a very long cutscene that's like 3 or 4 minutes long. I'm walking on nothing right now, so I'm just walking on an invisible barrier, and I'm going to use it to hop on over to these trees and then hop down. That skips, like I said, a long introductory cutscene as to what we're doing. That's Filbo. Hi, Filbo. Bye, Filbo. We're moving on. We're not going to be doing any of Filbo's quests. We don't have time for that. Instead, we're going to be jumping on the geometry around here and getting out of bounds and progressing the story even further.
Filbo is a bit of a sad sack when you first meet him, but I'm sure he'll get it together.
Yes. Yeah, he's a little bit of a sad sack, but he is our sad sack. He's currently the mayor. Yes, very true. He's currently the mayor of Snaxburg, which is kind of the hub town that we've yet to see here. We're going to be working on a few different goals all at once, which is that we're trying to get all these Grumpuses, which are these big furry humanoid-like creatures, back to Snaxburg because they all dispersed after their official leader, Lizbert, went missing. So we're going to be figuring out what happened to Lizbert, as well as trying to get everyone back in town. I'm going to be trying to do a really tight trick here. Let's see if we can get it, and I'll explain it after I'm done. Oh yeah, easy peasy, like it was nothing. But what I did there was we've now got access to the snack trap, which is the main way that we're going to be catching Bugsnax. And what I did was I was able to catch a Frighter through the floor by putting a trap on top of that area. and then standing on top of it so it's shoved through the floor, and being able to catch it, and that saves like probably like 5 to 6 seconds over catching it the normal way. And now I've caught all the Bugsnax that I need for this area, which is called Garden Grove. I'm just going to turn them into Wambus here, who is very hungry. Yes, they do eat the Bugsnax.
You're going to turn them into Wambus, and then Wambus is going to turn into them.
Yes, exactly. I'm turning the Bugsnax in quest style, and then the Bugsnax are turning Wambus into them. As you can see, the lems are turning into the very foods that we are feeding the people, which is going to be happening throughout the run. Now, Garden Grove is a very interesting section. This section that I'm just getting ready to complete is kind of like your tutorial into catching Bugsnax, as well as you get your journal, which is kind of like, you know, your main resource in terms of like looking up Bugsnax information and the map and stuff like that. This section is done the same exact way in every category, because for some reason it's one of the only areas in the game that you cannot get out of bounds and then skip through. You can get out of bounds here with relative ease, but for some reason it's the only area in the game that the loading zone does not activate until the quests are complete. So it's very, very odd. But
you really think Beffica would let you live it down if you didn't become her BFF?
No, absolutely. We would not. She would be tearing into us. That's how she goes. But we at least established the friendship with Beffica, and then we're never going to see her again for this run, unfortunately. But well, actually, that's not true. We'll see her again, but we're not going to be doing anything, any of her quests or anything. So worth mentioning as well, the main character that we're playing at is also a Grumpus, very similar to that. My fur color is green. You can pick your fur color, which I do a lot of times with bid wars and incentives. But the main reason that I wanted to bring that up is because we are indeed a journalist who is here to both research Bugsnax, find out about them, find out about the island, but also the people who live here, and also the how the mystery behind Lizbert's experience. So we will be doing some interviews as a journalist would do, but right now we're actually just going to go out of bounds pretty easily and immediately. I'm going to hop across here, and then all of a sudden we are in a brand new section called Scorch Gorge. This game is broken up into biomes. As you can tell, we were in one biome very quickly at the beginning, where we just ran by Philbo and said hi and bye. We will stop by there briefly a couple other times in the run. This is a biome that's not actually unlocked through the story yet, but I went out of bounds and hit the loading zone, so that's what we're going to be doing a lot through this run. Speaking of, I'm going to do it again right here in a second. I'm just waiting for my friend Cromdo to get back here. Cromdo is going to give us a very useful tool, which is the launch pad. That is a launch pad. What we're going to do is we're going to hopefully get out of bounds pretty easily here. And I'll explain a little bit about what we're doing once I'm able to easily do it. Oh no, I fell all the way off. Okay, so now I have time to explain it though. So the launch pad is obviously, as you can tell, it's a launch pad. It launches things. It's more meant to launch like Bugsnax, other tools, things that are small. When you put stuff on it that is heavy, it shrinks the amount of distance things can fly. However, if you time it very specifically that the second you step off, you also launch the pad, you'll get the full trajectory of the launch pad as if you were a small object, which is what we do a lot of times to get out of bounds. And now we're already all the way into Sizzling Sands, which is like at least 70-75% through the story. So we're moving right along here. But as I mentioned, the category is all bosses, which means that we're going to be fighting many of the Bugsnax bosses, also called the legendary Bugsnax. There's 4 in the base game, so we'll be taking out those 4 there. They're all tied behind side quest lines of specific characters, so we're going to be beating the game as fast as possible, yes, but we also need to complete 4 different side quest lines so that the boss fights become available to us. So we'll be doing some other things as well, and this is one of those other things. So we're basically doing all of these quests so that we can get specific areas and people to come back to Snaxburg. We also need a couple of specific Bugsnax that are in this area to progress the story. So we'll be catching a few extra things that we wouldn't normally catch necessarily, but we do need for the side quests. I'm trying to turn this loaded Spuddy into this so I can launch it like that. Easier said than done, obviously. Let me get this out real quick. I'm gonna throw that here so we can sauce it up. I'm basically what I'm going to be doing a lot for these quests is I'm going to be doing everything I need to do to advance the area all at once and then turn them in, you know, kind of like MMO style, doing a bunch of quests all at the same time and then turning them in all at once. It's the fastest way to do things most of the time, so that's what we'll be doing. This Buffalocust, which is a flying buffalo chicken, hold on, let's see if I can get it out. Nope, not quite, not quite. I do need to catch, but as you could probably imagine, catching Bugsnax that are on fire with your hands or your wooden traps is probably not the way to go. That's kind of a bummer. Let me see if I can slide a trap under it, actually. Nope, not quite. So we need to find a way to extinguish the Buffalocust, which is just getting trolled. Okay, that's fine. Just start flying. Very good, very good. So we're gonna try to super launch it itself into the water there. There we go. That should be enough to do it. Bye-bye. Perfect.
It's just so now airborne. I'll be able to catch it. It's still good. It's still good. Yeah,
it's still good. I mean, it's a bird. It flies. Weirdly enough, chickens don't really fly like that, but you know, we're not gonna talk about it. Now we have the most annoying part of this section, which is that we have to lead this black raspy through kind of an underground maze. It's made less annoying slightly in this category by the fact that we're actually going to catch the enchiritos that are here. Usually the fastest way to do it is to not catch them and to just keep things moving. So you just kind of dodge them or stun them with sauce by getting them to try to collapse out onto a rock. I'm gonna catch them though because I need specifically the types of Bugsnax that are aggressive and meaty. Coincidentally, I've been called both of those things, but not really. But we will need those for a side quest later. So I'm gonna catch them and just save them for a little bit. We're gonna let our Raspy friend through here. We're going to also get that out of the way. Unfortunately, it got scared. That's not ideal, but it is a little bit safer. Because this specific section can get a little glitchy occasionally. Where even though I have completed that part of the quest line, I have not. It won't count for some reason. So it actually happened in my last marathon run of this category. So hopefully it doesn't happen this time. But now we're going to be turning in all the quests. Come on, please. Okay, thank you. Whew. That is the one quest that can be a little bit glitchy sometimes. You can get the black raspy all the way up here and it won't count for whatever reason. So luckily enough, we got through it. There's a nice little secret passageway into the next area, and then we'll be going on to Boiling Bay, these are some of the final items that you're meant to access in the base game, but we're already here, just absolutely trucking through.
I assume I know, but I don't think we talked about it. So the game has given you the traps, the tools, the sauces, because you are in these new areas, yeah?
Yes, yeah. Typically, you would not be able to access these areas without these tools, so the game gets very confused. It's like, okay, well, if you're here, you must have these tools, and then it just automatically gives them to you, which is very, very handy. Another case of fire Bugsnax we need to catch, so we're going to extinguish it, but instead, because there's no water, we're going to run it into a frozen Bugsnax, which is that Palatos, a giant tropical popsicle. Come on, nope. Not quite. So this area is highly subject to RNG, unfortunately. We need one of those red binoppers there. So hopefully we get good luck and it hops between the places it needs to. No! You jerk. That is one of the reasons why it's subject to RNG. If this thing takes too long, then it just will... the trap will get destroyed by the Palatos. Very unfortunate. There we go, got that. I need one of these at least, so we can do that. And then I'll try and throw this trap up and distract enough so that won't be a problem. Do not hit my trap. Do not hit my trap, please. Please don't hit my trap. Thank you. Okay, there we go. All right, got all the Bugsnax I needed to get at least, but that was kind of an RNG nightmare, but we got it. And then we're just going to turn them all into our good pal Floofty over here, who has a variety of quests where we're going to be feeding a lot of Bugsnax to them and changing their limbs very specifically to their recommendations. So yeah, it's going to be kind of silly, but you know, it's Bugsnax. So what else did you expect? All right, so gonna do a couple more feedings. There we go. I'm gonna feed this noodler too, and then we're going to turn everything into Kokomite rather. And then now, last but not least, we just gotta do one of each of everything. So there we go, and oops. What do I need to do? There we go. Perfect. Nice. Now, one last thing I have to do in this area is collect a clue that's all the way at this little peninsula. It will be important to progress the story far enough so that the end of one of the side quest lines happens. So that's why I need to pick that up. And now I need to get back to Snacksburg, which is the center thing, the main hub. However, I can't just warp, even though I have fast traveling, I cannot warp there yet. If I warp there, the game will revert back to the same state it was when I was last there. However, if I go into a loading zone where I wasn't supposed to be, and then I kind of walk backwards into it, the game will freeze for a second and be like, oh, okay, let me just catch everything up. And then now the Snacksburg is in a whole different state than when I left it. A lot of people back that we haven't even met yet, so game is very, very confused, but that's okay. Now we're going to be doing an unfortunately longer segment where I'm going to be doing a lot of mashing and a lot of interviews. All that this is accomplishing is progressing the story far enough that I can finish out the side quest lines that I'll need to do for the boss fights. I'm going to be doing like 5 or 6 interviews here though, so it's a lot of mashing and a lot of just kind of seeing the same thing. So if we have any donations, plugs, incentives, now is a very good time for that.
I'd be happy to, yeah.
Sure.
It's as good a time as any to remind people what RIP Medical Debt is all about. RIP Medical Debt, which if you're an old head, you might have seen from the John Oliver bit on Last Week Tonight, where he talked about debt buying and the idea that debt, particularly in this country, in America, if that's where you are from or watching from, is basically treated as a business. You know, if you are in a situation, especially in healthcare, where you need care and you might be uninsured, underinsured through no fault of your own, obviously, you know that, we all know that here, but those charges, you know, for as long as the hospital or their associated groups want to keep trying, they will try to charge that through to you through whatever means they deem necessary. And then once they have essentially written that off their books, gotten their tax breaks for their losses or what have you, they will sell that debt along to third parties who then have full legal authority to continue pursuing that debt through whatever means they deem necessary. And debt buyers are not usually nice people if you've ever gotten a call from a debt collector. So what RIP Medical Debt does is it basically acts as a debt buyer, you know, basically masquerading as a debt collector, and it makes offers to buy up that medical debt for pennies on the dollar. Somebody was kind enough to quote the other day saying that every $1 donated to them on average through the research that they do to make sure that they are stomping out debt most effectively is turned into $100 of medical debt relief. So they act as though they are a buyer, the same as anybody else in the quote-unquote business would do. And then once they get that debt from whoever is selling it, they figure out the most effective way to write it off the books so there's no tax burden on the person for whom it's paid off. And so that basically all they need to do with the personally identifiable information and all the other stuff that would normally come along with buying that debt, which is kind of scary if you think too long about it, but all that it really becomes necessary for is sending those people a letter saying, hey, you're taken care of, you can get back to your life. And that, among many other reasons, is why this is such a great charity and why every dollar donated, you know, the 934 so far, go to buying almost $100,000 in medical debt. So thank you so much for your generosity to everyone who has been part of this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Beautifully put, T-Tree. I couldn't have explained it any better myself. And you really capitalize on the fact that this is a very, very important cause, obviously. So I'm really glad to be part of it. And thank you to everyone who has donated to make that possible. Let's see if we can get some more donations in during this Bugsnax run. Would love to get some shout outs during the run there. Also perfect timing, by the way, because we got through all of the interviews and stuff that we need to do. We're taking one quick detour. We're going to hit up the Sandopede, which is a submarine sandwich bug snack that breaks apart into 4 individual pieces, but we're only going to get 3 of them because that is all I have inventory space for. But they will be important for quests later. I did lie, there is one more interview here, but it's a relatively quick one, and it's with the fan favorite character, which is Chandlo, the green one here. Chandlo is an absolute himbo. Not very bright, but heart of gold. Whoops, I did the wrong interview option there. People love Chandlo. Yeah, I mean, what else can you even say? It's just, he's a beautiful guy. Chandlo is one of the 4 people that we'll need to do complete side quest lines for in order to get to one of the boss fights, but we're not going to do that one just yet. We're going to actually be heading right onto our first boss fight here, which is going to be against the Mothza Supreme. Any guesses as to what Mothza Supreme's food type is? It's in the name. If you think about it hard enough, it's in the name. You'll see it very soon anyway. So, the Mothza Supreme fight is decently RNG heavy, unfortunately, but there are some things I could do to mitigate some of the RNG, so we're going to be hoping we get some nice fights here. By the way, let's see if I could find it. Is it in the air somewhere? Let's see. They do just fly around. There it is. There's Mothza Supreme right there. It is a giant moth in the shape of pizza. So we're going to be fighting. We're going to be fighting pizza.
But pizza is friend.
Pizza is friend. Pizza is friend. Well, don't worry. We'll make pizza friend in the end. But right now, pizza is enemy until we defeat pizza. Which, to be fair, when I eat pizza, I do try to, you know, it feels like a battle sometimes with how much pizza I eat. So
that's fair. I mean, like all pizza, you know, even like, you know, airport or gas station pizza is friend, but there might be a pitched battle afterwards. I get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, gas station pizza is like the friend that's like a little passive aggressive sometimes. Sometimes it just hits you a little wrong, you know. But yes, so the fight itself, so it's going to revolve around using a smaller bug snack, Bombino, which is a pizza roll, to launch the pizza rolls essentially at Mothza Supreme, and then, oops, let's see, let's throw that there real quick. There we go. And then after Mothza Supreme is hit by them, Mothza Supreme hits the ground, and then we use some of these giant pizza cutters that are around this little arena to chop it down to size, literally. Now, I do something slightly unconventional here, which is that I'm gonna run way out of the way to get this Bombino back specifically. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is that there are other Bombinos that are sprinkled around the arena as well. You can kind of see them in the distance there, but as you can see, they are on fire. And what you need to do to extinguish them, there's not much, honestly. You just need to, you'll see these cyclones that will pop up like that. That is what you need to get them in those cyclones to extinguish them. Where are you? There you go. Get it back on there. And that takes a lot of time and is RNG dependent, and that's part of the little part of the mitigation that I was telling you about. So we can make it a little bit easier for us. That's 1 hit. We need 3 hits total. So let's see if I can I sneak this? Am I gonna regret this? No, I did regret it, unfortunately. I should have just waited. Impatient. Bummer. If I basically hit it as it was moving away, so it was not even remotely near something that was able to chop it down in size, so a little bit of a bummer, but that's what I get for being impatient. All right, this is hit number 2. 1 more hit and it will be done. Oh, actually, there's one right there. The last phase is the most RNG dependent because you can no longer launch the Bombinos at the Mothza Supreme. You have to, because there's a giant cyclone that makes it impossible to do so. So instead of that, you have to try to get a Bombino into, that's pretty good, into a giant cyclone. Oops, did not mean to catch that though. And then hopefully it hits. Let me get rid of that Bombino. There you go.
You have to hand deliver it. That makes sense.
Yeah, you gotta hand deliver it. Exactly. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
No, you know what? I don't know well enough to disagree with that. So.
Yeah, I guess it's really the opposite, but that's fine. Nice. Okay, so that is one of the 4 boss fights down. We're gonna make one small pit stop before we go back to Snacksburg and get started progressing to the second boss fight, which is back to Scorched Gorge here. We need to, because it's nighttime right now, we're going to catch a specific bug snack we're gonna need for later, so we don't have to like sleep and worry about it later. All right, and then now we can warp back to Snacksburg. We're good. Now we have 3 more boss fights next. The next one we're going to work at is through our good friend Chandlo. Chandlo is going to give us access to a boss fight named Mama Melon. But first we got to do a few quests. And unfortunately, the mini game in this game that I am the absolute worst at, but we're gonna give it the old college try, as they say. But first we got to do some feeding. There you go. Take all that, Chandlo. Enjoy, buddy. All right, so here it is. This mini, it's very simple. All I have to do is wait for Chandlo to fall underneath things, and then hit. Nope. See, I just cannot time it for some reason. I need to get 5 weights on top of Chandlo, basically. That doesn't count. Let's see if we can try this again.
More weight.
That's 2.
That's heavy, bro.
3. You could do it in 1 wave if you're actually good, but I'm not, so I didn't. There we go. All right, so there we go. Now we're gonna have access to the Mama Melon fight. So we're gonna get an automatic warp, just like we did in the last fight. That takes us on over to... Bum, bum, bum. Okay, I thought the game froze for a second. That loading screen fell forever. Flavor Falls, which is the area that we were first in when we started the game. Now we have to wait for Chandlo to get over here anyway. So I'm just fooling around. You can actually get out of bounds here and get into the area faster than intended because there's like a closed door right there that Chandlo opens up. But you can actually get out of bounds and get into the area faster. Unfortunately, it doesn't do anything in this category, but it does have benefits in other categories to get out of bounds here. So here, let me get in and you'll see. So I'm going to drop down in here, and 100% it's really beneficial because there's a bug snack here that I could catch that if once the door opens, that bug snack is going to disappear. Basically, once the boss fight happens, that bug snack is no longer available until after the boss fight. So if I can get in here fast, then I can catch it pretty fast. There also used to be a trick that you could do, which is that basically this fight revolves around getting Mama Melon under a pillar and then dropping the pillar on top of her.
There it is.
So that's what the fight evolves around. There used to be a trick where you can pull a pillar out early and kind of get it on top of your own head and then just drag it over to Mama Melon and it counts as a hit. It seems as though they have patched that out now because it seems like there's like an invisible wall around Mama Melon preventing that from happening, but it used to be something you could do. So first you catch one of her babies to lure her over there, and then you drop the hammer. Now, we don't want to pull the trigger too early on this, on the second hit, because we do not want Mama Melon to be out of range of the actual pillar. So if you launch it too early, she'll come at it from the side and then she won't be in range. So you gotta let her get a little bit farther back and then drop it. So that is, we're already almost done with this fight. That is the first main phase. The second phase is just Chandlo catches a baby instead of us, and we drop a pillar on her again. So this is actually the easiest boss fight of all 4 by a good wide margin. And then yeah, that's boss fight 2 complete. Just gotta wait for our pal Chandlo to get back over here so I can feed it to him.
Chandlo's such a bro in like the best possible sense of the word.
Yes, the only person who can use bro, and I pretty much appreciate it all around. So could not agree more. All right, so back to Snacksburg we go. We're gonna start getting set up for the 3rd boss fight, which is gonna be against Mega Maki. But we're gonna do a few other things before we get right to that fight. So we're gonna take a little path around here. We're actually going to go ahead and trigger a cutscene. Basically, it's impossible to skip this cutscene. This is a new cutscene that was added with the DLC that was released about a year ago now. And you can't really skip it because we need to go into Wiggle's hut, and Wiggle is right here. So we'll run into it anyway, so I might as well just get it out of the way so it's not in the way. We got to interview her as well, but this is a relatively quick interview. She's pretty fast. Wiggle is a character that has a one-hit wonder. She's like a really, really talented singer, and she has a one-hit wonder out in this world here. And she's chasing that high again, wants to get another hit song out there, but she's struggling. She is gonna be the person that we need to progress so we can get access to the Mega Maki fight. So we're going to do a few quests here, and then we will come back and finish them later. The reason why we do it like that sometimes, by the way, which is like, you know, not doing all of the quests, but just doing some of them and then finishing them later, is because some of their quests won't trigger until you leave the area and come back. So we just try to optimize that by doing everything we can until we get to that point, then leaving when we have to anyway, and then we come back later, progress the story even further. So. Right now we are empty on Bugsnax, believe it or not. It's the first time since like the beginning of the game, basically. But we're going to be progressing the story a little bit farther here as well, by going into the last accessible biome in the game, in the base game, I should say, which is Frosted Peak.
But I'll tell you what we're not empty on, though. We're not empty on donations. We just had an
anonymous... yeah, why don't you read a few?
Oh, we do have an anonymous $10 donation. It doesn't have a comment to read, but it does buy a lot of medical debt for people who are in need. So thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for your donation. So here we are in Frosted Peak. We're actually going to quickly catch this Mount Sodi. Basically, there's a lot of variations of Sodi, soda Bugsnax. This one is obviously Mountain Dew themed. And then we're going to be introduced to Eggabell. We're not going to be doing any more Eggabell quest lines than we need to, but we do need to progress her story a little bit. Or else one of the boss fights, which is actually in that same room, will not be accessible to us. So we're going to progress it a little bit, but we also need to catch some specific Bugsnax in order to do that progression. So I caught the Mount Sodi, that's one. We need 2 more, but luckily I can bounce these 2 off of each other and get a 2-for-1 special, kind of. Because one is on fire and one is frozen, but when you run them into each other, they both become catchable, like that. So there you go. And then we're gonna jump down, and you can see Eggabell is right here. We needed her to get here anyway, so we quite literally did this as optimally as we could. Come on. Oh wait, whoops. What did I know? Oh, I know what I did. Oh, bummer. Okay, I forgot one thing. Which you need to do to unlock the next quest, and it's such a minor thing. So like, when I did one of the interviews earlier, they gave me a diary. Oops. And there's a clue inside the diary that I need that I forgot to grab. So now we could go back there. Unfortunate, but whatever. At least we got the Bugsnax we need. Now we did waste time, but you know, it happens. So we're gonna run back this way and progress the story a little bit farther now. After that, we will be going back to Snaxburg briefly. Actually, right after this, we're gonna catch one more Bugsnax in this area, but you know what? I could have caught it right there. Oh boy. Oh well, that's fine. Everything is fine. There we go. There we go. So we need to catch three out of 6 Bugsnax that activate these totems. Eggabell automatically gets the other ones, so I just catch the 3 easiest ones to get. Oops. I need the save icon. There we go. Now I'm going to restart the save. The reason why I'm doing this is it reloads me into the entrance that I accessed this area from, and it also sets it sets the spawn patterns back to default where they were. So I very specifically am trying to catch the Scoopy Banoopy, and it's faster to reload the save and then run back up here than just hoping that it's in the right area. There we go. And then now we can go back to Snaxburg. And that is going to be important for a quest that we're going to turn in pretty much right away, actually. So we're progressing 2 people's storylines at once so we can get these boss fights rolling. Oops, let me go this way still.
I remove anytime.
Unfortunately, one thing that was added when the DLC was added last year was that anytime you fully complete a quest line we get a fade to black, and then it throws us back into our own bed, which is frustrating because I was just over here, but then I had to come back over here just to progress the story. But, you know, what are you going to do? It also gave us fast travel, which is definitely faster than walking everywhere, which is what I was doing before. So,
Net
way
positive.
better.
Fair enough.
Yes, definitely a net positive. Snorpy gives us a little mini game here as well, where we have to light 7 torches on fire. You're meant to use the tripwire for all of these. However, you can light yourself on fire and run into 3 of them right away, which speeds things up a little bit. Then you have to use the tripwire for the rest of them. Or, you know, it would be like lighting yourself on fire, running over there, but that's not faster. Really? That did not hit? Okay. There we go. From this middle campfire here as well, we're going to walk forward so we can do that, but you do not want to walk too forward. You don't want to get into Chandlo's dialogue box, because he does have a dialogue / cutscene that will play if you get too close. I'm trying to avoid that, so was able to successfully do so.
Excellent. Yes, you let one out.
Okay, and that is all that I can do for Snorpy right now, but we can head on over to Wiggle and get warped on over for Megamaki, which will be our 3rd of 4 boss fights.
There's to be
Oops.
One
more chance at that dialogue. There we go. All right, now Megamaki is a very frustrating fight. It's actually fully predictable in some ways. It'll make more sense when we get into the fight, but Megamaki, as you can probably tell from the name, is a giant sushi Bugsnax. It's basically a long sushi roll serpent, but it also shoots out like Maki eggs, like the little orange fish egg things. And basically this fight revolves around using the tripwire between pillars so that Megamaki runs into the tripwire, explodes into smaller Bugsnax, mini Makis, you know, the smaller rolls of sushi. And we catch all of those so that there are none left, and that all that remains is the head, and then we catch the head and the fight is over. Sometimes when it throws those Maki eggs at us, it will hit the pillars that we have set up for optimal, you know, running into, for lack of a better term. And then we have to pivot and put the tripwire somewhere else. So hopefully the Maki eggs don't troll us too bad, but they might troll us a little bit. They might troll us a little bit. Also, shout out to Wiggle's voice actor, who absolutely slays this.
And how?
Absolutely. Like, not enough love for Wiggle's voice actor, because just comes in with the absolute vocals. I mean, come on. It's not fair that some people have all that talent, you know? Okay, so first stage is very simple because Megamaki is on the ground. But after, we have to hit Megamaki total 3 times. After the first hit, Megamaki takes to the sky. So not ideal situation. Okay, let's see how we can do here. We gotta get set up fast. That's pretty good. Don't destroy my pillar, please. Don't destroy it. It's gonna destroy it. No! Wow, it did not. Wow, I got really lucky there. Wow, it just dodged it. So that's pretty good. I'm in a frozen state right now, which happens sometimes when you try to launch your trap and it catches on something, but it doesn't complete like the catch sequence. Ooh, really thought I was gonna have to redo that phase, but we did not, thankfully. All right, let's see if we can get this done really fast. Probably not, but let's see. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that one... I've never actually tried that pattern, but I saw it and I was like, maybe. Maybe it will work, but it didn't work. That's fine, though. This is, Oh, I destroyed the pillar. See, yeah, that's the bad RNG that I was referring to. Let's see, come on, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, bummer. Wow, yeah, we're getting trolled a little bit here. Unfortunate, but it does happen. Let's see if I can run over here real quick. Nope, I'm gonna get trolled again. Basically any option I have is getting trolled relentlessly. Nope, thank you. It really just doesn't want me to succeed here, but we're gonna succeed anyway. I promise.
You talking about being trolled made me think of Trolley. Are there any gummy worm enemies in the game?
No, there aren't any gummy worm enemies in the game. Weirdly enough, there is a bag. Earlier I showed a Bugsnax that was like a bag of chips, kind of. That is like a variant Bugsnax that there is like 5 different versions of. One of which is a gummy bear one. So there is that, but there's no gummy worms specifically.
Maybe that's
yeah, this is a pretty bad fight. Yeah, maybe they'll do some more DLC someday. That would be perfectly fine with me. More Bugsnax is better. That was a pretty bad fight, unfortunately, but you know, we progress, we move on. That's why my estimate is set a little high. There's a lot of variants that can occur. So, and then finally the Mega Maki head. All right, and then we can just turn it into Wiggle, and that is boss fight 3 down. Number 3 down is what I was trying to say. Only one left. All right. Now we're back to Snaxburg, and we're gonna have kind of a slow section where we have to talk to Filbo specifically to progress a quest, and it's very slow. There's nothing that happens in there besides exposition, and I can't even run. I can only walk. So for the next like maybe minute or so, if we have any more donations, plugs, incentives, anything like that, is a great time for that.
Sure, I can give the people a reason to stick around for the rest of the evening by telling them about the upcoming runs. Coming up next, we've got Charbunny running a Love 3. I believe it's going to be a 100% run with some extras after the run, thanks to everyone's generous donations. And then 7 Ace running the Zerg campaign of StarCraft Brood War. So if you've ever done a Zerg rush or been crushed by a Zerg rush in your life, stick around for that one. And then after that, Cult of the Lamb from BZ Archer, GTA Vice City from Wolfblock 06, and closing out the marathon, Ghost of Tsushima from Emerald Alley.
That is a very good run. Especially, I mean, those are all really good runs, but I've seen Emerald Alley do Ghosts before, and that is an exceptional run. You definitely don't want to miss that one. And you also don't want to miss Love 3. Love 3 is a very good one. Just a few that I've seen before and highly recommend. But all of the runs that were on this entire schedule, really, were bangers. So it's been a very, very good few days. Okay, so yeah, like I said, we're progressing the story a little bit here. This is the last thing that we need to do with Agabel and Filbo. All the rest of it is the last boss fight, and then we're gonna get out of bounds and get to the end of the game as fast as possible, essentially. After, we're actually gonna be, the boss fight, as I mentioned, is in this area anyway, but we still need to travel back to Snaxburg to get Snorpy. Snorpy is the person's quest line that this revolves around, so they have to be present naturally, just like all the other ones. So we're gonna run back. We're gonna jump over here. The unfortunate thing about this run and about doing it in the cycles that we're doing it is that oftentimes everything is at night, which is kind of a bummer because you have to wake up everybody to talk to them, and they have like an animation that can range between like 3 and 7 seconds depending on who you talk to. Luckily enough for us though, Snorpy has like one of the fastest wake up animations, so that's pretty good. And then yeah, we're getting set up for our last boss fight of the all bosses base game, which is of course Daddy Cake Legs. Kind of an unfortunate name in a way, but I promise you it's not as weird as it sounds. It is a Daddy Long Legs made out of cake. I think specifically ice cream cake, because that would make sense to this area. The fight is the most exploitable. Let's see how we do here, and I'll kind of talk about what it is that I'm doing as I'm doing it. Did I get either of them? I got one. Okay. So basically, to do this fight intended is like similar to this. Really? That didn't count. Okay. Which is that there are these a bunch of ice pillars, and as you can see, Daddy Cake Legs has 2 candle wicks on it, one on each side. You have to light each of those up. It then burrows underground and goes to a different location within this biome. What you can do to exploit that is you can actually, at the start of it, light yourself on fire as you light the candle wick on fire, and then you can then run into its body with the candle wick while you're on fire, which saves some time. Looks like I was able to get 1 on each of those fights, but you can actually completely do the fight. Oh, cool, that counted. That was a really good shot. You can actually completely do the first 2 phases by lighting yourself on fire and hitting the candle wicks.
Okay, give me a second. I'm adding to my notes. Lighting yourself on fire saves time. Got it.
Yes. Oh, very much so throughout this run in general, because you also run slightly faster if you're on fire. I mean, yeah, I definitely would too. So whenever I'm given the opportunity, I will often light myself on fire. Phase 3 here is slightly different because did I get it? Yeah, because Daddy Cake Leg only has 1 wick. Trust me, it only has 1 wick. There's a visual glitch that happens there. Where it shows 2 wicks for a second there, and then when it falls, it only has 1 again. But that is the last boss fight complete. Please come back here. Thank you. We just got to feed Daddy Cake Legs, get it out of our inventory, and complete the quest, which is required for the category. And now it's time to get a little weird and go out of bounds. So we were at this door earlier that had these switches on the ground. You're meant to unlock this door normally, yada, yada, yada. We don't have time for that, so we're going to clip through the door instead. So first, we're going to launch ourselves up here. Then we're going to use our tripwire in a very specific location, and then let it push us out of bounds, just like this. Voila. And now we are in the endgame sequence, which we call, well, this part is called the Undersnacks, but in general, the endgame sequence we call it in the community the Gauntlet. But we'll get into the Gauntlet in a little bit. The Undersnacks here is like the point of no return in the game. You know, you can't catch any more Bugsnax at this point. You can't finish any side quests and stuff, or anything else. The game, when you play the game normally, it actually warns you that you're about to cross this point. And then it's like, hey, if you don't want to cross this point, if you want to do other stuff, go do this stuff first. It's fine. But since we got out of bounds, I clipped through the door. We skipped that dialogue, so we're not given that option. But I've played this game once or twice, so it's going to be all right. I happen to know what I'm doing. And then the rest of this is just, again, story exposition. Fun fact that I always love to bring up. So if you're unfamiliar, the website IGN does this video series called Devs React to Speedruns. Basically, they get developers of a game to react to a speedrun of the same game that they developed. And right after Bugsnax came out, they were able to do one of these videos because we found a lot of tricks in Bugsnax pretty much right away. And during that video, they mentioned that this area, the Undersnacks, there is a skip in this area that still to this day has not been found, that we are still desperately trying to find. What we have discovered so far is that if you are able to get out of bounds in any way in this area, the entire thing is surrounded by a loading zone. So you just need to get out of bounds somehow. The problem with that is, during this section, we are not given any of our tools. We can't even run. We can jump at certain points, but like that's not enough momentum to like shove us out of bounds, or we don't have tools that can make that easier for us. So we have not found it, but this whole section is like 2 minutes, probably. So if there are any glitch hunters out there, or people who are always looking for a challenge when it comes to speedrunning, and you want to check this area out, we would be very appreciative, because we would love to find this skip and save a couple minutes. That would be awesome. So.
But yeah, by the by, these are Lizbert and Eggabell. They were Grumpuses, yes, and now they're something a little more. So yes, don't worry too much about that.
Yeah, I tried to blow by that because it is pretty spoiler heavy. So, I mean, this game has been out for like almost getting close to 3 years now. So buy this game and play it. It's very affordable and it's very good. And you can play it on whatever. Are you kidding? You can play it on whatever you want. It's on all the systems. It's on PC. Just get this game. It's incredible. But one little thing that I mentioned before as well, you can actually glitch a little bit by mashing the action button in that last sequence, and then you can trigger a dialogue with Eggabell. And for some reason, if you trigger that dialogue with Eggabell but don't progress it, the loading for that section speeds up by like 2 or 3 seconds. I don't really know why. So I do that, and then also in that last section I just left, if you parkour across the treetops, saves about a second as well. So I was able to get that, but it is a little difficult. The screen shakes as soon as you're about to jump, and then you have a very thin pole to jump on to get on top of the trees, but was able to execute it. Yes, that was the cake boss, but legally distinct. The quest is even named Cake Boss when you defeat that boss, so it's very funny. They knew what they were doing. And now we're in the Gauntlet, which is a sequence of like mini games or micro games, depending on how you look at it. Mini games probably, where we use all the tools that we've been using through the game, but they have different functions now. For example, this is no longer a trap; it's a snack chop as opposed to a snack trap. I'm not going to go into why we're defeating the Bugsnax now, as opposed to just catching them and living in harmony. But there is a reason. It is important. That is phase 1 done. There is 6 mini games here. This is the second one. Our snack grappler now has a boxing glove attached to it, so it's now a puncher. The game wants you to stand there and punch them as they come at you, but if you go on the side, you can actually just speed this up and get them all out in one punch, which is a lot faster. Oops, a little low on that one. A little low on that one too. Then some Bugsnax come out of the ground here, which you can actually preemptively kill if you time it right. And then the last thing, again, it wants you to hit these backwards because these are Bugsnax that explode. No, what even went wrong there? This happens sometime. So basically, it wants you to stand here and then hit them backwards, and then they explode into smaller stacks, and then you hit them again. But if you get behind them and then hit them towards these two, they will help eat the snacks, which speeds up everything. The downside to that is that sometimes the snacks get clipped out of bounds here, and the game has a detection where if a Bugsnax is unable to be destroyed, it will just destroy itself over time. In this section, so it does happen, but you have to wait for that to finish, which wastes a lot of time. That looked really good to me, so I don't even know where a Bugsnax went out of bounds there, but it happens.
Yeah, I thought they both did the eating animation. I was as confused as you were.
Yeah, it looked really good to me. I actually thought that was like one of the fastest ones I've ever done, but it turned out to be one of the slower ones. This mini game is self-explanatory. We use the tripwire, and then Bugsnax cascade down the mountain, and then they fall into the tripwire. This is actually the only mini game in the Gauntlet that you can't slow down by being bad. I could actually just let all of these Bugsnax come down and fight on Chandlo and Snorpy here a little bit, and it would not waste any time. The only thing that I could do to waste time is if I don't hit on the very last wave, because this challenge completes after the last wave is defeated. But every other... I don't even know what happened there. Every other wave, it doesn't matter if you hit them or not. But pressing buttons is more fun than not pressing buttons, so I press the buttons. One last one. This is the last wave. I'm going to wait for them to move. Then I'm actually going to run over here and try to wedge myself in between these two planks of wood. That doesn't look good, unfortunately. Yeah. The reason why I try to do that is if I get wedged there, I'm ever so slightly closer to the next challenge. Saves about a second or two if you execute it correctly, but not a big deal if you lose out on it. This next section, barrels, is by far the hardest minigame, requires a little focus from me, so I'm going to go a little quiet here, and then I'll explain how I did everything afterwards. Looks good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's first phase done. Might have been late. Nope, we're good. Okay, cool. Good, that's all looking good so far. Good. Let's see if we can clean it up on the last wave here. That looks good. Yeah. All right. That was perfect.
Nice.
That is the perfect way to do that. So barrels is actually to play casually is not difficult at all, because you can use the launch pad as the launcher for the barrels, and you can actually target Bugsnax individually, and the barrels just home in onto them. But you can only do that to one Bugsnax at a time, so it's a little slow to do that way. So instead, what we do is we position the launch pad, the thing that flings the barrels, kind of the icon, in a way that if the Bugsnax kind of converge onto it at the right time, the explosion radius of the barrel will take out all 3 Bugsnax in that wave at once. Did I even get that one? Yeah, I did. So you have to position it very carefully, and you also have to time your shots very specifically, which takes a lot of focus. But once you get the hang of it, it makes it relatively consistent. Basically, we are able to shoot a barrel and destroy the entire wave with one barrel, with the exception of the last wave, because the last wave has 5 Bugsnax that never like all converge into one spot. But we can do it in 2 barrels if, again, we position and time it out very specifically, and we were able to do that. So that worked out pretty good. This challenge is very self-explanatory. We have a buggy ball that rolls around on the ground and follows our laser pointer essentially. Oh, that was the end. I wasn't paying attention.
No, it's funny. You were talking about how, it's like, oh, this is a little complicated. I'm going to explain what I did afterwards. And I'm sitting there watching you launch the barrels like, I imagine everybody who's playing Tears of the Kingdom right now, like, recognizes exactly the sort of thing they're looking at.
Yes.
We're just flinging explosives at enemies.
Exactly. But we do so with optimization, of course.
Indeed.
This is the last mini game. For some reason, this is the only dialogue that you can't skip through. I don't know why. Just doesn't let you. But this one is pretty self-explanatory as well. We get access to a special sauce, which is not a sauce that exists in the main game, just only for the gauntlet. And it makes Bugsnax like get so feral that they run into each other and explode. What we're going to be doing is putting the sauce in very specific locations so that the waves attack each other as fast as they can. Sometimes with this one, this can happen, which is that the Bugsnax phase into each other like this, and then eventually they'll explode. They'll figure it out. There you go. But that is a complicated one. But all the rest of this fight is pretty self-explanatory. There is one unlisted rule, which is that you have to hit Wambus with the sauce in the speedrun. It's like an unofficial rule.
Thank you for validating the run.
Yep, gotta validate the run. There is one other unofficial rule that comes up at the end of the game. By the way, time is coming up soon-ish. Maybe 45 seconds, maybe? We get a little rehashing of some of the bosses that we fought earlier. There's Mama Melon, there's Matza Supreme. The Queen of Bugsnax that jumps down here obviously has parts of all of them. You can see Mama Melon, the cake, the pizza, the Mega Maki. They're all kind of merged together here. So yeah, a little bit here. Yeah, like I said, we're approaching the end. I said 45 seconds. So it's probably closer to like 1 minute and 15 seconds at that point, and then
it's now actually 40 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's about 40 seconds. Boom. Okay, so we have one last segment that's on the beach, and then we got to get fired from our job real quick. Don't worry. It'll all make sense when you play the game yourself. One other unofficial rule of speedrunning Bugsnax is you got to pick up a shell at this end section. You got to hold it back, and then you're going to trigger a dialogue with Philbo here. You got to hit Philbo with the shell. Just like that.
I know.
All right. Time is coming up very soon here. Just got to get fired real fast. All right. And time.
GG.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is Bugsnax, and you get to see the credits and enjoy that lovely song that T-Tree did a beautiful rendition of earlier as well.
Yeah, Cara Bonito is a lot of fun to listen to. They definitely found their way out of this game and into my regular listening rotation.
Yes, very much. They are very, very cool. So I hope you enjoyed Bugsnax All Bosses. It's a very fun category where we get to do fights that we don't normally see, but it's still full of glitches, and we skip all the unskippable cutscenes for the most part, which is really, really good. So hope you enjoyed that. If you want to learn how to speedrun Bugsnax, we're probably one of the friendliest groups in speedrunning, in my opinion at least. Just go on over to speedrun.com/Bugsnax. You'll find our Discord from there, and feel free to join and ask questions. It's a very easy run to get into. Any percent is, you know, around like this. The world record is in the 15 to 16 minute range, so it's a very short run. And then there's a whole bunch of a plethora of other categories as well if you're more interested in something else. If you enjoyed Bugsnax specifically, my name is Konception, and I run Bugsnax a lot for various marathons, and I do occasionally stream as well whenever I have time. Twitch.tv/Konception if you're interested in seeing that, or Pokemon speedruns, or speedruns of terrible and awful games as well, because I also do run the GDQ Hotfix show, Awfully Silly. So I have an affinity for games that are awful and or silly. So we do play those as well on stream. Yeah, other than that, thanks to the Meteor Speedruns team for being awesome. Thanks for having me for 2 different runs. Thanks for putting up with the fact that I did the entirely wrong run yesterday. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's gonna be about it for me. So enjoy the rest of the marathon.
For my part, I will just offer a quick correction. Our next run is going to be an any percent of Love 3 with a little bit of bonus content at the end, and I will entice you to stick around for that. So hang tight, we will be right back.